Today I'm talking to Kathryn Eriksen, who is a fellow Infinite Possibilities trainer. She's a really cool lady. I wish she lived around the corner from me because I'd have coffee with her like every second day. Kathryn's amazing and we relate on so many levels. She used to be a lawyer and now she does a whole lot of new, different, exciting things, which I'll let her talk about, including hosting a radio show and teaching the Infinite Possibilities program. She has it in online course version. And she's just got a really amazing take on life, and I love her book. So, hi, Kathryn.
Hi, Miriam. You are so sweet. I wish I could hug you right now. Virtual hug. Yeah.
Virtual hug. Do it. Cool. So I mentioned your book, and I'm going to get you to start there, please, because it's been a while since I read it, and it's beautiful. Like, it's this just beautiful story you can get lost in, but it's this amazing metaphor of this journey. So do you want to talk about the heart dancing concept and teaching?
Oh, yes, of course. Thank you. Yeah, Heart Dancing has been out for 2 years now, but it's one of those books that the story never gets old. And I wrote it to teach people these infinite possibility concepts, as well as other kind of time-space concepts, and that you can have a direct relationship with a higher being, whatever you call that entity, but it's all contained in a fictional story. So I'm glad to hear you say that you got caught up in the story, because the characters are very interesting and they go through a lot, and through that metamorphosis and evolution, hopefully the reader comes away with life lessons and ways to handle their own crises, handle their own difficulties in their life. So that's what Heart Dancing is all about. And it's become so much more than just the book. If I can go into that for just a second.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's actually, I see it as a way of life, because when you're living from your heart and listening to that music, you truly dance with life. You truly become more aligned with who you really are, as opposed to all the mind messages and the stories we make up about who we think we should be. So that's what Heart Dancing has become to me. And I've gathered quite a tribe. It's become a little bit of a movement on similar lines to your 1 in a million movement that we're talking about here. So I really appreciate you giving me this opportunity.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's beautiful. And I love how you put it together in a story. And, it just feels like one of those stories that you downloaded. So
it was truly a download. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I've now had another download.
Oh, cool.
Call it that. I took one of the characters in the book in Heart Dancing and gave him his own book. And it's the dog, Avatar.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah. And so he now has his own book called Drop the Leash, Let Go of Your Past and Love in the Present. And for those of you listening, Avatar is a golden retriever, but he's so much more than that. And my idea for this new book is that dogs have so much to teach us about unconditional love, and about not, dogs don't forgive because they don't need to. We make a lot of stories up. We hold grudges. We get in that space where we're mad at someone and carry that conversation on in our head. And that's where a dog can teach us how to forgive. So that's what Drop the Leash is about.
That's beautiful. I love how you said that, dogs don't need to forgive because they don't hold the grudge in the first place.
Exactly.
Hello.
Have you ever thought about that? Watch your dog. If you accidentally step on his tail or don't pay attention to him, he's instantly back you are instantly back in his good graces as soon as you reconnect and, establish that relationship again. And that's the way we should be with each other. So I use dogs as kind of the metaphor, example, model of a way that we can live our lives in a more beautiful, well-loved, and connected place. So.
And do you know what just came to mind then when you were explaining that? It's because they never doubt that they are loved.
Exactly. That's it. Okay. Well, thank you, Miriam. My work is done.
All right. See you later. We'll talk another day.
Okay. No, that was it. You got it. That's it. But in case you do want to read the book, it's available.
Obviously, we do need to read the book because we hold grudges, right? I don't know about you, but I hold grudges, and
Right.
and then I tell myself I don't need to, and I have to work through it and process it. So this whole critical mind that we are blessed with, sometimes it's a bit of a curse, isn't it?
Exactly. And especially when, like you, as with your past as an engineer and me with my training as a lawyer, that critical mind is developed to a very fine honed sense. And it's hard to turn it off sometimes.
Yeah, and look, that's actually something I'd love to talk to you about. I know we've talked about this in the past, but a lot of the women I work with, we joke about crossing over to the dark side because they're not necessarily from a, spiritual background. They're not necessarily energy workers and that
Right.
kind of thing. A lot of them are just business women, or they may have been in corporate, or they're running, just a mainstream kind of business, but they're starting to switch on to this. Well, one, I want to do it with more of a feeling of purpose and soul. And then they realize that, hey, if I'm going to be looking inside of me, there's a whole lot there that, I want to discover and keep playing with. So tell me about your journey and how did you go satisfying your own critical mind in that journey?
Right. Well, it actually was more moving into my heart and kind of telling my mind, you've had your turn. Now I need to get into my creative side. I need to, hone my intuition. I want to become more aware of energy, more aware of what's really going on underneath the surface. And there are so many books, so many podcasts, so many people out there doing that. I started this back in probably 10 years ago, and it was just an evolution. It's not, for me, it wasn't an overnight thing. It was what I call following the trail of breadcrumbs. My first set of books was Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. And then that opened up doors to follow another thing. And then I went to another and then another. So it's whatever leads you and speaks to you that really you should follow, and listen to those, the intuition that if you read a sentence or read a book and it's zing, that's it. You've just ignited something, and see where that can take you, because there's so much more that people are holding themselves back from. And that's one of my passions, is to show people how much better and how much more expanded their life could be when they trust that intuition, and when they trust that knowingness, and not let their mind guide their actions.
Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so happy that we had an excuse where we could actually catch up for a chat. And as a bonus, I got to share you with everybody else. So have an awesome day, and I'll catch you again soon.
All right. Thank you so much. You're the best. I love you.
Bye.